Welcome to the Akashic Library.
Hey, so let's talk about something really important. We're going to break down this one simple idea, but it's an idea that's so powerful it can completely change how we look at our relationships and, honestly, our whole lives.
So, what is it? What's this one single rule? The one thing that, if we actually followed it, could save us from so much confusion and heartache down the road.
And here's the answer. It's called reciprocal love. It's basically a love that's mutual, it's balanced, and it's a love that you never have to beg for. It's when someone is just as sure about you as you are about them. Now, that sounds so simple, right? But as you're about to see, it's something a lot of us have been taught, somehow, to live without. Okay, so let's really get into this. What does this kind of ideal reciprocal love actually look like? What does it feel like day to day? When love is really reciprocal, there's this feeling of calm. You're not spending all your time and energy trying to convince someone that you're worth it. There's none of that anxiety from vague texts or wishy-washy plans. You're not sitting there wondering when or if they're going to get back to you. You're definitely not up at 2 in the morning trying to write the perfect long message just to explain what you hope for. Instead, there's just this deep mutual gratitude. It's this amazing feeling of being seen and valued by someone who is just as thankful to have you as you are to have them. And I want to be really clear about this. If everything I just said sounds like some kind of fantasy or maybe even sounds a little needy, it's probably because we've been trained somewhere along the line to expect way less than what is actually emotionally healthy for us. This isn't neediness. This is the baseline.
And that brings us to a really crucial point, how we often mix up the feeling of pain with the feeling of love. Let's look at a few common situations that we tend to think are normal, but are actually huge red flags.
Think about this one for a second. We're sometimes told it's a good thing to be patient, to wait quietly while someone else is trying to figure out their options. But let's be real. Being an option is the absolute opposite of being loved. Or how about this classic? You're pouring everything in, your time, your money, your emotional energy, and what you get back is lukewarm at best. It's that feeling of a forgotten birthday or a huge effort that goes completely unnoticed. And this one might be the most exhausting of all. That feeling that you are constantly having to justify your own needs, having to basically argue for affection, for someone to just be present, for basic human consideration. That's not a complicated relationship. That's a broken one. And this just nails the real tragedy of it all, doesn't it? It's not just about a bad relationship. It's about the lost time. The years we might spend in that state of constant longing and anxiety and self-doubt, all because we thought that was what love was supposed to feel like. So, if this is all so painful, why on earth do we do it? Why do we keep falling into these same patterns? Well, the answer, like it so often does, takes us way back to our past, to the lessons we learned about love before we even knew what was happening.
Just look at this contrast. On the one hand, what many of us were taught love is, the drama of pining for someone, the project of trying to fix a damaged person, that familiar sting of feeling ignored. But then look at the other side, what true love really is. It's two people who just feel constantly blessed to have each other. It's mutual, infinite care. It's being someone's true, constant ally.
And here's the real kicker. Those early experiences can completely scramble our wiring. They can create this connection in our brains that actually equates the feeling of love with the feeling of not being quite good enough, which then pushes us to seek love from the very people who are least likely to give it to us. Okay, so now that we understand the problem, what do we do about it? How do we move forward? This next part is all about taking back control. It's not enough to just know what's wrong. We need a clear, practical guide for how to change things. Here are the rules, and these are non-negotiable. There's no gray area here. If they're still deciding about you, you have to leave. If you find yourself having to explain your own worth to them, you have to leave. If they use their own issues as an excuse not to be kind, that's their problem to solve, not yours. You have to leave. And if they aren't your biggest fan, you have to leave. Look, this isn't about being harsh. This is about being sane. And let's get really honest about the excuses we make. It doesn't matter if you're married. It doesn't matter if you've already invested 5 years. It doesn't matter if the physical chemistry is great or if you think they're the most beautiful person in the world. These are just complications. They're not justifications. If that fundamental reciprocity isn't there, none of this is love. It's something else entirely. So, where do we go from here?
the final step is all about a huge shift in our perspective. It's about completely redefining what we're even looking for in a partner in the first place. This is about finally ending that long pattern of self-abandonment. It's the moment you stop auditioning for love and you decide, once and for all, to be on your own team. To fight for yourself with the same passion you'd fight for your best friend.
And really, this is what it all comes down to. We deserve to be adored by the person we adore. Anything less than that isn't romantic. It's just self-abandonment. It's a betrayal of yourself. You deserve to receive the same amazing love you so freely give out. And there's something so peaceful about this final thought, isn't there? The end of the struggle isn't some big dramatic win. It's a quiet moment of clarity. It's when the idea of reciprocal love no longer feels like this radical concept, but just feels obvious. That's when you know you've made it. You're home. So the only question left to ask is this one. After all the pining and the persuading and the pain, are you finally ready to accept the simple, beautiful truth of what you deserve? Are you ready to come home?
Anxious attachment isn't about being needy. It's about fearing loss. In the next video, we'll look at the one relationship rule that changes everything.